Have you ever reflected on the past year and wondered, how did I make it through or how did it go so fast? Hi, I'm Emily and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to go over what this year taught me and the lessons that I've learned. Isn't it crazy how a year just goes by like that? It's so nuts to think that it's already New Year's Eve basically, and it's just like, where did this year go? I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I feel like it flew by. I literally can remember what I did for Christmas like it was like 2 months ago. So it's like this 12 months flew by. A few things that I've learned this year was basically, I started becoming more aware of myself and the patterns that I'm repeating, or just being very like wanting to adjust the way I'm being, because I want to excel and I want to be successful. And not that I'm not successful now, but I want to be where I want to go in the future, and I have a lot of things that I need to work on with myself. I mean, I don't have to, but I want to. And so it's just like, for me, this year, I am just learning to be aware and present in the way of being that how I'm acting and being. And so for me, I'm learning how I treat my husband, or which is not hasn't been always the best. So it's like I find that I've learned over so many years, like my past programming of how treat myself, but also treat others. And so I'm learning to be more compassionate, empathetic, and remind myself on a regular that we are all human, and I wouldn't say necessarily make mistakes, but we make choices. And it's just like, it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's a choice. And so for me, I was always um, I'm always, or I used to, I'm working on not doing it. But I used to criticize my husband a lot of well, why aren't you doing this? Or, well, you say you want to do this, but why aren't you doing this? When in fact, that's actually me projecting things that I want to fix or change about myself, but without really realizing it. So now that I'm becoming aware of it, I'm like, okay, so if I'm criticizing him, it's actually me criticizing myself, because I'm either out of integrity saying oh, I'm gonna be toned, physically by a certain date, and then I don't do it, or I let myself fall off the bandwagon, or, I let someone else almost take my power away. So it's like I let somebody else, drag me into what I'm not committed to. And so it's just it's actually something I'm just looking at a lot of personal growth this year. And it's been super impactful for me. It's been tough, really tough, but it's like me looking at myself and then figuring out ways to make my life better. And what way do I want to be next year, and who do I want to become to be, a future singer, or a businesswoman, or a coach, or something where I can impact people, but also show people that I've done the work as well. I'm also noticed that I like to be in control of things, so, or force an outcome of things. So instead of just letting things be, yes, don't dismiss that know that I want to work towards something with a goal and a milestone, and just keep the chipping away with actions, and get there eventually, but not by a certain date per se, but to also enjoy the process and the journey and all the lessons I'm learning along the way, whether it's me failing or whatever, at something. It's a lesson that, or an opportunity for me to learn. Or if I have a communication barrier with somebody, and it gets escalated or anything, or I get triggered, it's a opportunity for me to learn about myself and what it is that triggered me, that I actually need to learn to love about myself. And that's the other thing, is I'm learning to embrace myself fully, the good and the not so good parts. We all have it's just embracing myself as a whole. So this is really hard because it's like I've grown up being so hard on myself, having high expectations of myself, being critical, very like I can get down on myself if I don't achieve something, or I feel like I'm like, well, I should be here by now, or I should be farther along. When in fact, it's like instead, I'm just should be. I'm wanting to take it all in and just learn the process and just be and sit in my power, but continue to take the actions towards, but not let the things that trigger me, like, affect me, and so I can actually just keep moving forward, if that makes sense. And the other thing is, like, just being so grateful and in gratitude of, like, everything that I am working towards or I have done or that I have already, and just like all the things that all the lessons that I'm learning, I'm actually grateful for them right now. Where in the past I would have been like, oh, it's just another thing I got to do or another thing I got to learn or darn it. I'm always having to do something or beat myself up over it instead of like, okay, well, all right, how could I do this better? Or what could I create my life as, of who I want to be. And so it's like it's just giving me the opportunity to just look at like what's going on and see what I want to like adjust or change because it's only up to me. It's a choice. Like if I want to do it, then I'm going to do it. And so it's just committing to that for me. Whatever it is that I want to. And I'm still working on that. But like this year, I'm starting to realize it's like I get to choose like what the way of being I want to be or who I want to become. Another lesson that I learned this year is basically that it's like just kind of like slow down and not be like and not say yes to everything. Where in the past, like I would be like, oh, there's a party there. Okay, like I'm gonna go do that as well. Instead, it's like thinking like what could further my career so that like I'm empowered or I'm not like guilt tripping myself or feeling guilty that I'm not going because or thinking that I'm going to offend somebody for not going or just like me taking time to realize what's best for me and like be clear with like my priorities and my direction because I know in the past like it's so easy for someone to sidetrack me or distract me from what I'm trying to achieve. And so it's just like, it's so easy to say, I have FOMO. So it's so easy for me to be like, oh, yeah, yeah, let's go. Cause then I feel I'm not left out. But in fact, it's just like me slowing down, realizing that I don't have to be around people all the time and just thinking and just being used to like, I wouldn't say isolation, but being okay, being alone and allowing myself to grow basically because when you are alone, you learn about yourself. Trust me, like I know in the beginning this was tough because I'm like, well, I'm always used to being around people or I would feel like I was lonely if I wasn't around people when in fact like I'm starting to like being without people. Yeah. But which is kind of funny to me because it's like a complete 180. But yeah, so it's just like learning to be comfortable with myself and slowing down and just like it makes things more calm. It's like also meditating more or being more aware of things. And so it's just being more grounded in what I want to do, who I want to become, and just being able to sit with it basically. Also, this year I am learning to let go and surrender. And this is so hard for me to do because I just am like, well, I feel like I have to like do something to get somewhere. And sometimes it's just um, allowing peace and calm in yourself. So your nervous system isn't so heightened, or so you don't always feel like you're in a fight or flight or have full anxiety because I can easily push myself into panic, overwhelm, anxiety. And it's just taking a few breaths, allowing myself to like sit with everything calmly or like go, walk in nature, or put my bare feet on like the grass or the like solid ground. And so just to, get used to the calm, because within like 20 minutes, my body just starts to calm down. And then I'm actually more productive if I essentially take some time off so that I'm not like always working. I know that's another thing that's hard for me, because I feel like if I'm not working, then I'm not getting anything done, or I'm not being productive, or I wasn't productive. And in fact, like, your body does need rest. So it's like I'm learning that to just allow myself to be in that space and not like force everything. But yeah. Another thing I'm learning within this past, like, yeah, I knew about it, but like I'm actually really starting to go for it. But it's like being in my femininity and not being my masculine all the time, because I am in my masculinity, like at work, or when I'm like having to do things, where I'm starting to learn that the feminine side is like more in my body, and like heart and heart, like mind connection, mostly like heart connection, and like just allowing things to flow and be calm. And so, like, so I find that, like, if I get overwhelmed, like, I just need to take a few breaths, or I need to go, do some dance movements or somatic exercises, or just something to calm my nervous system down, so I'm not like in a panic. Because when I'm in a panic, I can't get anything done, because then I'm like, ah, there's too much to going on. So it's just like allowing myself to sit back, be in the flow, and being okay. And that, like, just being more comfortable with myself, and being like more at peace with myself, and just like embracing my full self expression and just the way I am. And like I'm starting to realize that that's so worth it, because it's like, it's like you feel more content or calm, if that makes sense. And I'd rather be calm than completely frazzled all the time, which is what I was. I still catch myself in that, but like I'm more calm. Is like I just need to figure out like what my priorities are, and what's more important for me to get done, and what can actually move the needle forward, instead of just going, I gotta try to do everything. But yeah, basically, yeah. Also, I'm also learning this year that, like, I know this, but it's just like relationships are super powerful. And if I'm constantly like judging someone or criticizing somebody, like, that relationship isn't going to last. This includes girlfriends, this includes my husband, my family. And I'm like, no, like, everyone is the way they are, so I need to work on accepting people the way they are, because I'm not gonna change them. They have to wanna do that if they wanna change. Or, like, I just need to sit back and see if they want to change. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and try to force it, even though I want to, because I'm a fixer. But I'm also an empath, so, like, I feel people's pain sometimes, or I feel people's energies. So it's really hard when I see that they're dealing with something, or I want to help them, but I can only just be there for them and allow the space to see if they want to come and ask me questions. Because if I'm criticizing them, they're never going to want to come to me. So it's just being in the calm, the surrender, and just let things be. And it's allowing people to be themselves no matter what. And trust me, this is hard, because I'm working on this, but I know this is so important, and I know 2025 is going to be a magical year. And I'm just working on like creating abundance for my life. And like I know relationships are so important, and I know like family is important. It's like I don't want to push my family away, or my friends, or my husband away. I want to be able to cultivate amazing relationships, so that it's like super powerful, and like impacting, basically, because we need each other. It's for like connection and love and empathy. For 2025, I'm excited for this year, because like I'm trying to set myself up powerfully now for the start of 2025. I still have a lot of work to do but I'm trying to get myself ready and be like, all right, what do I want to do within the first 3 months, and have like a schedule or some sort of discipline or habits that I create, or like start, like journaling, gratitude, like who do I want to become, or what kind of person do I want to be after a year, or it's just like what relationships do I want, or and like if they aren't good relationships, then let them go, kind of thing. It's like setting up all my goals and like the milestones I want to hit, but be like realistic with them. But it's like I'm really excited for 2025, because like I know I'm going to grow a lot next year, and so I'm trying to get like as much, pre-planned prior to 2025 starting, so that I can, have a fresh start, or a new beginning. And so like I'm excited, and I hope you all get to do the same. And I would love to hear in the comments below, like what do you want to work on for 2025, or what's important for you in 2025, and or do you want to cultivate more relationships or friends? Do you just anything, like, do you want us hit a specific goal? Like, I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments below. Another thing for me for 2025 is to allow myself to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, or the unknown. And so I know this is a tough thing, because it's always fearful doing something new, or like I'm afraid I'm gonna screw up or say something I shouldn't. But I know like I just need to push through and just do the uncomfortable action. And so that's gonna be a good one for me for 2025. But I'm gonna definitely push myself outside my comfort zone, because I know past that there's so much growth or expansion. And so I'm really excited for 2025. I know you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, or anything you want to achieve. Set your goals high and work towards them every day. And I know you will achieve them, because it is so important when you just continue to take the action of your big goals. I believe in you. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Let's start 2025 strong, and let's rise like a phoenix, and let's do this all together as a community.